Welcome to the deep dive on Google's latest release, Gemma 4. The biggest discussion isn't about the model performance, but the licensing. Google just dropped Gemma 4, and for the first time, the biggest news isn't the benchmarks, it's the fine print. After years of open weights with asterisks, Google finally blinked. Gemma 4 is now Apache 2.0. But does a permissive license actually make a model better if the training data is still a black box? Today, we're looking past the marketing slides to see if Gemma 4 is a llama-killer or just a very polished pivot. Let's first highlight the good news: why developers should seriously consider integrating this into their stack. Let's talk architecture. The standout is the 26B mixture of experts, or MoE model. It's only activating 3.8 billion parameters per token. This is the Goldilocks model. You get 26B level reasoning with the inference speed of a 4B model. If you're hosting locally, this is your new best friend. Then there's the agentic focus. Native tool use and structured JSON output aren't just nice-to-haves anymore, they're requirements. Gemma 4 handles these natively, which means less time fighting with rejects and more time actually building workflows. Now let's pull the brake for a second and look at the areas that require a reality check. Google is shouting about a 256K context window. Having a massive context window is great on a slide, but history shows that effective small models often lose the thread long before they hit that limit. Until we see independent tests, take that 256K number with a grain of salt. And let's be clear, this is still open weights. We don't see the training recipe, we don't see the data mix, and we don't see the safety tuning datasets. You're still building on a foundation that Google mixed in a locked room. A major new feature is the native thinking mode, and it comes with a trade-off. Google added a native thinking mode for reasoning. It's their answer to O1. It's a double-edged sword. Yes, it solves complex logic better, but the latency hit is significant. Is the extra reasoning worth a 3-second delay per step? For a production line agent? Maybe not. The naming conventions in the Gemma 4 lineup, 26BA, 4B, E4B, E2B, reflect a significant shift in how Google balances model size, memory footprint, and actual compute cost. Here is the technical breakdown of what those prefixes and suffixes actually mean. 26BA4B, the efficiency king. A4B stands for Active 4 Billion. Architecture. This is a mixture of experts, MoE model. While the model contains a total of 26 billion parameters, it only fires or activates roughly 3.8 to 4 billion parameters during any single forward pass. The benefit: you get the reasoning depth and world knowledge of a 26B model, but with the inference speed and lower power consumption of a 4B model. This is the Goldilocks model for local developers who want high intelligence without a massive latency hit. E4B and E2B, the edge specialists. E stands for effective parameters. Architecture. These models use a technique called per-layer embeddings, PLE. E4B has a total parameter count of roughly 7.9B, but performs with the efficiency of a 4 billion parameter footprint. E2B has a total of roughly 5.1B parameters, but fits into a memory footprint of an effective 2 billion parameters. The benefit: they are engineered from the ground up for mobile and IoT devices like Raspberry Pi, Jetson Nano, smartphones. E2B, for instance, can fit into under 1.5 gigabytes of RAM with 2-bit quantization, allowing it to run fully offline on basic consumer hardware. Effective E and Active A are essentially Google's way of saying, don't judge us by the total parameter count, judge us by how much RAM and compute we actually use. It's a direct challenge to the industry standard of labeling models solely by their total weight. The fact that the E2B and E4B variants also support native audio and vision makes them far more versatile for edge computing than standard text-only small models. Let's look at the hardware reality check using my mini PC benchmarks. I've been stress testing these models on my Ryzen 7840HS mini PC, running purely on the CPU and 64 gigabytes of RAM. I know the RAM is a bit overkill, but I do other stuff too. You can make these models work comfortably on a 32 gigabytes or 24 gigabytes RAM too, and even get the lower models to work on 16 gigabytes. I have no external GPU connected to this mini PC and no cloud shortcuts. And the results highlight exactly where the friction lies in 2026. When I loaded the 26BA4 BIT model, the thinking mode became a massive bottleneck. The reasoning trace is so dense the CPU has to crunch through thousands of internal tokens before it even begins to answer you. On a mini PC or a laptop, this results in a high-latency waiting game that can break your flow. If you're on consumer hardware and need answers now, my advice is to bypass the internal monologue. In the Llama-killer, I found that setting the set nothink or set think low instantly transformed the model from a sluggish researcher into a snappy, production-ready assistant. However, the story changes with the E2B model. Because it's so lightweight and optimized for memory efficiency, the thinking process isn't nearly as intense. Even with reasoning turned on, the 7840HS handles the trace almost in real time. You get the benefit of the model's chain of thought logic without the 5 or 10 minutes penalty we saw on the 26B version. I did these experiments so you don't have to waste time troubleshooting manifests or waiting on slow prompts. If you're on a mini PC or a laptop, go with E2B if you want the thinking experience out of the box. Or go with 26B for high-tier logic, but kill the thinking process for a faster, more responsive workflow. Choose the right tool for your hardware, and don't let the thinking mode drain your productivity. So what's the final verdict? Is Gemma 4 a win? Yes. The Apache 2.0 license alone makes this a viable alternative to Meta's ecosystem. The MoE efficiency is legit, and the multimodal support on the 2B model is a huge win for mobile devs. But don't let the open rebranding fool you. This is Google playing catch-up on developer trust. It's a powerful tool, but use it because the architecture fits your stack, not because of the hype. If you liked this video, do hit the like button and subscribe for more such videos. I'll see you in the next one.